Is AI making you dumber? Let's find out. Now, back in 2006, there's a very funny comedy that came out called Idiocracy. It was a film by a guy named Mike Judge. And for a little perspective, he's the guy behind like Beavis and Butthead, Office Space, and a few other gems, I'm sure, over the years. It's a comedy, right? It's hilarious. Or is it? Right? The premise is simple, but it's a bit uncomfortable. You get an average guy. His name is Joe, right? And this average guy, played by Luke Wilson, is in the military. And he's, he gets frozen in an experiment and basically wakes up 500 years in the future to a very, very dumbed down world where intelligence is completely eroded at that point. Now, this guy's not a genius, right? He was just average, as I said. But in that future, he was the smartest person alive. Pretty scary concept in that aspect. Now, I've read somewhere over the years that Mike Judge had half-jokingly said that what was meant to be a satire is starting to feel a little bit less like that and more like a documentary. Now, that's scary, right? Because I think that he's kind of right. And that's the part that really concerns me. Now, I spent 20,000 hours or more at this point coaching some very smart business owners. And the last several years, AI has been in the mix of that coaching, no doubt about it. But let me be clear. I'm a huge believer in AI. There's no doubt about that. I use it every day. I teach it. I help businesses implement it, right? But I'm very intentional about warning people about how they use it. Because what I'm seeing right now, although it might be subtle, it's a bit dangerous, right? People aren't just using AI to move better, faster, and cheaper anymore. They're starting to abdicate their judgment. Let me say that again. They're starting to abdicate their judgment. And that's for you people all the way in the back of the room who didn't hear what I just said. That's the part that scares the bejesus out of me, right? So they're giving up their ability to think for themselves, to decide and to evaluate voluntarily. Now, I'm already seeing it with people I'm coaching, with people I'm not even coaching, where people can't even write an email response anymore, where they have to have AI write the response, right? They can't even write a review from their own understanding of their experience. They have to have AI write it. Right now, that's not always necessarily the worst thing. But what starts happening is a slippery slope. Now, I call this slippery slope the three-phase dumbing down of humanity. Did you get that? The dumbing down of humanity. So, let's dive into that for a second. Phase one is lazy. Phase one, lazy, right? So AI makes things better, faster, cheaper, right? No doubt about it. Phase two is we start building a dependence, right? That pursuit of better, faster, cheaper turns into dependence very quickly. We stop practicing. We stop thinking for ourselves. And thinking is like a muscle, right? So when you stop using it, what happens? Your muscles atrophy. Your brain does the same thing. It starts to atrophy. That's dangerous zone. And then phase three, as this progresses into those critical levels, ignorance. Dependence turns into that ignorance. And then the real question becomes, if everything shut off tomorrow, who in the room knows how anything works? Right? Now that's not fear-mongering. That's resilience thinking, right? So losing touch with our humanity, where it first shows up as lazy, and then dependence, and then ignorance, that's the slippery slope that we have to be careful for. I'm seeing it start already. And for each individual person out there, they might be on a different in a different phase than the person next to them. So it's happening to some faster than it is others. Does it have to happen? No, it doesn't have to happen. But we have to be cognizant that it's even a potential, or else It can easily slip right into our world. So, we've seen this, right? We've seen this story before. Have you seen the movie The Terminator? Well, there you go, right? That's where humanity becomes no longer necessary. And the AI, the machinery driven by AI, decides maybe we should wipe them out, right? I'm not trying to fearmonger. What I'm trying to do is help you understand. We don't want to ever even give it a chance to go that direction. It doesn't need to. So, now, the goal isn't for you to stop using AI. That's not what I'm talking about here. The goal is to use it in a way that keeps us capable, that makes us better, that expands our capability, not takes it away from us, right? That's not what we're looking for. So this all starts with one simple principle. Humans do the critical thinking. AI does the heavy lifting. Repeat that with me. Humans do the critical thinking. AI does the heavy lifting. That's how you need to frame this, my opinion. But I've been around the block a few times, and I've been working with a lot of really smart people, and I'm telling you, what I'm seeing happen even happens to the smart ones. So, understanding you are responsible for the critical thinking. And then the key is to leverage AI to help you out in getting things done. It's this way AI works for you, not the other way around, right? So, that being said, I have a solution, right? I always try and have a solution. Otherwise, why am I talking, right? Anyway, I've come up with a solution based on what I've seen go on and what's working for me, right? And I call this solution the 10-80-10 workflow. That's the 10-80-10 workflow. Let me explain. So the first 10%, that's where you're doing the critical human thinking. This is where leadership comes from. It's the 5 W's plus the H, the who, what, when, where, why, and then how, right? You have to think through what you want to have happen here, right? If you can't answer those questions, AI can't help you, right? AI is going to do what it thinks, and it may not be what you need to have happen, right? That's what I'm talking about when I say abdicating your responsibility. You cannot abdicate your responsibility, right? So the first 10% of anything you work on has to come from you. You have to think it through. What do I want to have happen? And also, you're not going to be able to really gear up AI to really help you well if you haven't thought it through at all. So that you can explain to AI properly what it is you're trying to accomplish. What's the outcome? What's the end game? What's the end game, right? That you're going after here. So then we've got what I call the middle 80%, right? This middle 80% is what I use for brainstorming, let's say. I might brainstorm and use AI as a thinking partner. I do that all the time. I have it sanity check my thinking. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing, right? I use it all the time for reflection and improvement of things. I use it for strategic planning. And one big thing I do all the time is I use it for stress testing, right? Stress test what I'm putting out there and tell me if what I'm putting out there is accurate, is good, is logical, right? And is it me, right? Because I go as far as teaching AI a lot about me, so it understands. Is it Dean? Is it Dean worthy? That kind of thing. Nothing wrong with that, right? And I use it with everything from articles to videos to podcast ideas to my year-end reflection to quarterly planning in my business and with clients, right? I'm still doing the thinking. AI just helps me think better, faster, and cheaper. It helps me organize my thoughts, right? That's the key there. I do the initial thinking, then I bring in AI to help me pull it together, right? Now here comes the final 10%. And this is where I see a lot of people skimping. Don't be that person, right? This final 10% is about you taking ownership. I call it human ownership, right? Now, before anything goes out with your name on it, does it sound like you? That's the first big thing you have to be asking. Do I believe it? Right? Would I defend it? Then I own it, right? It's me now. Because I can explain it. I can stand behind it, right? Because I've read what I've had AI help me create. And I've not only read it, I've scrutinized it. I put it through my test, right? Of my ability to look at something and say, is this worthy of me? Right? That kind of thing. So the 10-80-10 rule is critical. It's paramount to you producing with AI in a way that still remains you, right? Still keeps you in control. Very important, right? Or you could do what a lot of people are doing out there, and they're abdicating. And abdicating, basically giving away their right to think, giving away their right to humanity. That's not what we want here, right? So are you guilty of that? Now, before I continue, and I got a little more for you, let me ask you this one big favor. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe. That will help me so that I can help you. You know, it's part of my mission, right, is to go after business owners, very smart people like you, and help educate and help them understand what they're up against and what they're dealing with and how to get through it better, faster, cheaper, how to make life better. And ultimately, when they grow themselves, they can grow their business. When they scale themselves, they can scale their business. Your business will only grow to the degree you do. Your business will only grow to the degree that you do. Don't think that AI is the savior here, right? AI is here to support you, yes, but not to save you, right? Now, let's wrap this up a little bit. AI is the enemy, folks. Abdication is, right? That's the key. The future belongs to people who can think clearly and use powerful tools, the ones that are being put in front of us. And don't think for a second that these tools aren't even going to be exponentially more powerful within a month, within a year. Forget about it in a year, right? What we're seeing today in these AI tools is vast superior to what we were seeing last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right? So I want you to remember, always remember the principle I taught you earlier. Humans do the critical thinking. AI does the heavy lifting. Now, on that note, what I'd like to leave you with is AI making you dumber? Only you can decide. You get to choose. I hope you make the right choice. So if you, once again, liked what you saw here, please like and subscribe. That'll help me to help you. And on that note, here's to your success.